continue celebrating reaching over 1 million subscribers, we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the top 10 street racing moments in 1320 Video's 13-year history. We've seen street races all over the country, and as of this year, even in Sweden. It's impossible for us to highlight all of our favorites, but here's the videos that made the cut. Starting with number 10, a battle between the infamous Painkiller and Red Rum. This is a race that we filmed recently down in Oklahoma City this year, and it's no secret that I love Corvettes, and it remains to be one of the top performers in the streetcar world. We jumped into Painkiller, and this was one crazy close race between the 850 horsepower Pro-Charged C7 and the 1080 horsepower Nitrous C6.
Damn. That was nuts.
Next on the list, number 9 comes from the Super Bowl of street racing down at TX2K11 in 2011. We hopped in with our friends 1550 horsepower twin turbo Lamborghini, and we were in for the ride of our lives. This is the first time we experienced a twin turbo car at this level, all-wheel drive. The G-forces and a rolling launch were just insane. Number 8 comes from a series of videos from 2013, 2014, 2015 of our friend Skinnies, who dominated our cash days here in the central Midwest. This car is a proven street monster, and the crazy thing is if you look under the hood, it doesn't even look turboed until you see that weird intake plumbed through the firewall. You may have seen Skinny's street racing boosted GT on the first episode of Street Outlaws this year. They were racing in the rain and he put car links on them. He's got that car figured out even when it's spinning. Number 7, one of my favorite races from this year, hopping in with a 1650 horsepower GTR and an 1800 horsepower capable twin turbo Lamborghini. The Lambo owner clicked it down a couple notches, trying to make it a little bit better race, but when he made that first hit, he got the jump and saw the GTR coming up on him, he knew he had to turn it up. Last race, he knew he had to turn it up to about 1700 horsepower, and this was a badass race. I'm sitting in the Lambo, Matt's sitting in the GTR, and about 160, 170, 180, we're just neck and neck. The cars are getting swirly just enough to get really close to each other. We go all the way up to 210, 220 miles an hour. That was a rush. Number 6 is from our first trip to the West Coast to see what street racing is all about. We've seen plenty of videos all over the internet, and we knew it was a lot different than street racing in the Midwest. These street racers are really serious about what goes down on the street. It's all about street cred, the cars that they race, the shop that they're with, the people that support them. No races for free, and it's all business. Arguing in parking lots for hours, maybe to race, getting chased by the police, risking your car being impounded forever. It was an intense experience. After 2.5 days of being chased around by cops, sitting in parking lots with 100 people arguing over what the race was going to be, where it was going to be. We finally had a race locked in. A C10 nitrous pickup with giant tires against a 700 horsepower supercharged 5-liter Mustang on radials. This was an unusual race. It seemed like the winner was known, but this race didn't go down as expected. When we get to the spot, this is what I pictured LA street racing like. Tons of spectators, crazy scene, everyone's frantically getting ready for the race. These two cars line up, they do their burnouts, and then suddenly the pickup dies. Can't get started, and the Mustang's flashing his lights, trying to get the easy win, take home the money right away. The truck starts up just in time. There's a traffic jam behind these cars, semi waiting to get through, being impatient, and we're ready to race through the intersection. One of the weird parts about this video, at the end, the getaway truck that I hop into, our YouTube comments were flooded with people wanting to know more about this truck. Little teaser of the truck flying down the road, making an Australian-style burnout about 500 feet down the road. Everyone wanted to know about this truck. You can look it up on YouTube under 1,000 horsepower Cheyenne pickup, and you can see what that truck's all about. Next on the list, at number 5, is one of the craziest imports we've ever filmed, a Toyota MR2 that we saw down at FL2K. Right when we saw this car on the trailer, we knew something was up when we saw the massive 2 exhaust pipes between the taillights. Oh, wow. We had to know what this car was all about. The owner pops the hood, and here's a Honda motor, which we didn't expect to see. And apparently this is a pretty popular swap, especially now that this car has been all over the internet. K20 motor, precision 67-68, pushing about 900 horsepower, and a little MR2, nutty car. The sounds this car made were super unique and crazy, with the exhaust shooting out the back, the flames popping off the limiter, and the whining of the dog box. It was a sight to see on the street. Number 4 on the list is one of those crazy stories I tell all my friends when we're rolling through Oklahoma City. We came down to Oklahoma City to film our second Cash Days ever, and there was a race between Boosted GT and a nitrous Monte Carlo. The spot was very unusual. We'd never been there before. There was an access road running right alongside one of the main interstates. If you do a giant burnout, it's just a giant billboard telling the cops, come bust us. So Boosted GT does one of his famous giant rolling burnouts for about 300 or 400 feet, leaving a massive cloud just billowing over us and floating there. And then the nitrous Monte Carlo does his burnout right as we spot a police officer on the side of the interstate.
There's a cop on the interstate right there, I think.
It's clear the cop is just lost, doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know what's going on, starts backing up, isn't sure if that's the right way to get in there as the racers are taking off. This is when I knew the street racers knew exactly what they were doing. We ran behind a fence, all the racers followed us, locked the fence, the 2 racers went and hid in a building, and the cop was lost scratching his head, had no idea where everybody went.
Come on, go! Hey, come on, we got a couple more. There you go. Where you at, Rick?
Somebody other than, figure it out.
Now to number 3, and this race wasn't a very good race, but it was a very pivotal moment in 1320 Videos history. Kyle and I, aka Skunk Shots, rolled down to St. Louis for a $1,000 buy-in street race we had been invited to. And I misspoke in the previous race. There was 12 cars, $12,000 pot. Looking back, it's pretty funny to think that the now famous street outlaw racers like Big Chief, Daddy Dave, Monza, Student Driver, Barefoot Ronnie, Boosted GT, were all at this race, but we didn't know anybody except for Boosted GT. But a bittersweet end to this story, a month later, Limpy called me from down in Texas, the guy who was flagging the St. Louis race, to invite us to come film his Cash Days race. This was a start to a long series of Cash Days videos that we put out on DVD and put up highlights on the YouTube channel. Shortly after that, Hey Steve, the owner of King of the Streets, crazy no-cut race up in Chicago, hits me up, and I'm a little unsure about this race, but I wanted to check it out. And the first race we hit, I was hooked. Now for our runner-up for the top moment in 1320 video street racing history. This is one that went down in Southern California, our second time going to California to film, and we were there for a street race up north. We happened to be in town the same time the Street Outlaws were filming the first episode in LA. The night before the filming, the 405 boys had an itch for some legit street racing before the next day where they went to the closed down road for the production. It had been a few years since I'd been so anxious, so nervous, and so excited for a moment like this. There was hundreds of people around me, right in the middle of an intersection in Compton, California. This was unreal. The racers continue to unload. The sound of these beasts is just nuts. My blood's flowing again, my hands are sweating, I'm just amped up. I can't wait to see the street race. And then the ultimate TKO knockout from the police. CHP rolls in on their chopper, and then cops from a bunch of different intersections roll in, and we're shut down. This was the biggest blue balls moment in my street racing history.
What do you say?
High school crowd.
Blue balls.
Street Outlaws.
Talk about blue balls.
Now for the #1 craziest street racing moment in 1320 video history. You may have guessed it, we mentioned it in our first video, the Stockholm Open. This was the ultimate street racing fan's dream. It's been at the top of my bucket list ever since I've seen videos about 10 years ago on YouTube of these crazy Swedes closing down the interstates, rolling in with massive amounts of spectators, causing a traffic jam, just so they can get down to business and street race. I had to go. I had to see this for myself, and we made it happen this year. We knew the Stockholm Open was the race to see during the year in Stockholm. They have a series of different street races throughout the year, and this is their final Super Bowl of street racing. Shortly after getting into Sweden, our friend Andreas meets us at the airport so we can make sure we get to our hotel. Shortly after, we meet Kimmo of Kimmo Media. He's the equivalent of 1320 video over in Sweden. And then also Robin and Kim, who were there to make sure that we got the craziest inside look at Stockholm street racing. These guys also took us to shops to check out cars ahead of time so we could get a taste for what we were going to see. Take us out on test hits, get an inside look of what street racing style is like before we get to a big show with thousands of people around. It was a whole different style, and we weren't really prepared for how crazy this was. The day before the Stockholm Open, we meet up with our friend and his crew at the Norrlands Ascona, a crew we'd actually met at Drag Week the previous year, and they were telling us about their performance at the Stockholm Open. They've been runners-up for several years, and they were determined to take home the win this year. Another big race, the Stockholm Open, starts in the same place it has for over 30 years at a gas station in Stockholm to kick off the Sweden version of Cash Days. We had no idea what we were actually in for. With the unique format of the Stockholm Open, races happening all over the city at the same time, with only 2 hours to complete the first and second rounds, it was a very difficult format to film. Myself, Matt, Fred, and my friend Andreas in Sweden all split up to try and capture as much as we could in different areas of the city. The time limit for each round is to ensure the race happens all in one night. It usually starts around 10, gets done at 8 in the morning. It's just an intense rush for about 10 hours. Big thank you to Andreas, Kimmo, Robin, and all of the Stockholm street racers, the organizers, and everybody that raced, and all the fans for the VIP treatment of our trip. It was amazing. It couldn't have gone any better, and we couldn't have done it without your help. I hope you've enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look of street racing moments from the past 13 years of 1320 video. Let us know what your favorite street racing videos are from 1320 Video by commenting in the section below. And if you haven't become a part of our over 1 million subscribers to our YouTube channel, click the button right above my head to stay updated of all the crazy videos we're about to put out in the future. Street racing, drag racing, crazy roll races, wrecks, wheelies, insane feature cars you've never heard of. We're going to come with you with a lot of footage.